Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Behold the internet.
Skill check.
Remember how funny we were before we were on the internet? It's all gone now.
It's all gone now. This is no more funny. No funny for you, chat.
That we're unfunny is the bit.
We get all of our comedy out before we go live because we don't want those comedic jitters, you know, in the middle
Well,
of
you
the
have to pay for
stream.
you have to pay for the Patreon to get the funny.
Oh, yeah.
Funny is DLC. You have to pay.
So
That's what
I
life
do
is
want to
like
say I got a story to tell.
All right.
Okay.
You got a story?
This is like, I don't really actually have an interesting life, so this is the most interesting thing that happened to me today. I work at a place that sends out like kits, right? For you to like, your doctor's like, you need to get tested. And you're like, I need to get tested. And they're like, you need to go to a doctor's office, go collect stuff. And it's like, I don't want to do that. And they're like, well, I'm sending it to your house then. And you're like, I don't know what to do. Just fill out the forms and get the cup and fill it. I'm like, oh. Anyway, so I work at a place that receives those things and tests for things. And so one of the things we do is we set up boxes for sending to homes, right? These home kits. And it's like pizza box folding. Have you ever the pizza box folding moments, right? Where you're like, you got nothing else to do at a pizza restaurant when you're working there. So you end up folding like a ton of pizza boxes. Right?
I know that exact feeling because I used to do that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I did today. And my coworker was just like, yeah, this is what we're doing. And I don't know why, but I took it upon me to be like, this was unmentioned. They don't even know, but it was in my head. It was a race. I was in this moment. It was a competition. And I was sitting there like speed run optimizing. I'm like, all right, if I fold while also picking it up and folding this part, I can save 0.1 seconds, which will be faster than him. And given an over 2 minutes, I'll fold one more box than they are. I am winning. Wow. All in my head, of course.
Did you win?
I did win. That's
There
good.
we
In my
go.
head.
It was all worth it.
It was in my head, but I won.
That's good. Is it possible for us to turn the music down a little bit? It felt like it was getting louder as you were getting into your story.
That's so funny.
Rising with the climax of the story.
That's so funny, he said, and then didn't change the music. Hang on.
Just blow out the speakers.
Wow, so funny that you said that.
Give me a
Great
second.
observation.
I'll do it.
Wow, what a coincidence.
I have to stop it and then change the volume and start it again.
That was a great story.
Oh, thank you.
Cleo, that was a story.
Yeah,
In a couple
that-
weeks when
that
you
was
tell
the
us about your
reaction I
promotion,
expected.
that will be the reason why.
Yeah.
I don't think that will be
You'll be a professional box folder.
that would be a demotion. A demotion?
No,
You
this
get
is
paid more.
Yeah, this is what you want, right?
This
Yeah,
is-
You get
full
paid to do what
boxes?
you love.
I love folding boxes.
Yeah.
You're right. This is I'm gonna pivot my whole career.
Yeah.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
I'll become a private contractor for pizza joints. I'll just
There you
be
go.
like, you hire me, pay me hundreds of dollars an hour, and I'll fold all these boxes at
Why not?
a normal rate.
At a standard rate. Only slightly faster than your in-house employees.
Americans will do anything to avoid the metric system. So how many pizza boxes per hour is that traveling?
Yeah.
Cleo is the standard measurement for pizza boxes per hour.
Yeah.
That's like how...
One Cleo.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I just want to respond to Trevor's asking of a question via DMs. I don't have the door knock one.
Oh,
That was removed. So
Probably because of how it went last time.
I
got
don't know
washed
what
with
you're
it,
talking
though.
about. We did get washed really hard with that.
We've got the YouTube short. We got the receipts. We'll show Mike after the
We got the
stream.
receipts.
I wanted to see if we could get Mike with it, but we don't have it.
My favorite is saying we've got the receipts, but for things that were not like a got 'em moment. So like someone will be like, oh, can I borrow that? And I'm like, yeah, don't worry. And they're like, I'll give it back to you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I got the receipts. Like,
Very good. Very
Yeah.
nice.
I just love the golf.
Oh, is the quote bot not up?
uh-oh.
Who's to say?
I will go fix
You know
Quotebot's
what,
napping.
Trevor? We are the quotes.
That's true. We are the quotes.
They're literally
I'm like-
quotes of us, so that is a true statement that was just made.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the logo for Camp Blunder, right?
Yeah.
And it just hit me. I don't know why, but in my head, all I can see is mission accomplished. With the double thumbs up.
I don't get the joke, but how funny you think it is enough that I'm kind of laughing at it.
I'm in Josh's boat.
I get the joke. I don't know if it's quite as funny as Cleo thinks, but it is funny.
It's the absurdity of it that made it really funny for me.
It's the absurdity for Cleo.
I think explaining it ruins it, so I refuse to explain it. Either you get it or you don't. Those who know, who know.
If you K, you K.
Oh.
Oh, Streamlabs is trying to get me to pay for a plan. Get out of here with that.
That's literally so. Okay, Caitlin and I were talking about this just before the stream. I learned today that if you have the Netflix plan with ads, you can't watch some of the stuff on Netflix. It
Yep,
paywalls some of the stuff.
I saw that
What's
too.
going on with the world?
Okay,
What's
Yeah, it was
happening?
paywalled.
QuoteBot should be active.
All right, let's see.
And here it comes.
Uh-oh.
And it's a swing and a miss. No quotes here today.
Second strike.
It says it's active over here. It says there's no quotes in it.
Oh,
Gas.
oh,
They
season
deleted our quotes.
season reset of the quotes.
We had 300 quotes in this quote bot.
Why were they reset?
I didn't do it. Don't ask it like I would know.
What did you do, Josh?
Josh.
Those were
how
precious
could you?
quotes.
Burned away all of our quotes.
Good thing we had a
Sad.
Nebby's episode, or a Nebby's that had an award for best quote.
That's true. A lot of the highlights are in there. But dang.
That's wild.
How will we know that Cleo once said wiggity woom, I'm wearing new clothes?
That's in the Nemis.
It's true.
we're gonna have to add new quotes, I guess.
Just start rattling off all the ones you remember. Just like recreate it.
I know. I
That's what
remember
this game can be.
I remember a Jake quote that was sometimes I get lost in the legs.
That
There we
is
go.
one of them. Yeah.
That's one.
I think-
299 more to go.
This is the new stream, session 0 quote bot.
So that's really interesting for everyone. I think here's something that we could really push for and try is just be funny again, and then the quotes will populate themselves.
That's an idea. It's a,
Tall order.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
We have a lot to live up to.
Oh.
Some of those early quotes, I don't know if we need to live up to those. I think we can move past them.
Any in particular that come to
Oh,
mind?
Jake's like,
just-
I wish we could rise above some of those first quotes.
I feel like perhaps the quote bot was murdered.
Yeah, what we're actually
brutally
finding out here is Jake actually snuck in there and killed the quote bot.
Just all to get rid of. I haven't done Jimmy John in a while. That's what I needed
Well,
to get rid of.
we can make that the first one of the new quote bot.
Oh my goodness. I was gonna say, is the murder of the quote bot the plot hook? Is
Yeah.
that actually what
That's
we're
the
doing?
new story.
Yeah.
The mystery.
Tutorial Tower, the quote bot murder.
Where were you, Jake? I know you did it. Just tell me where you were. Damn it.
He was doing Jimmy John.
Oh no!
Well,
Your Honor, he has an alibi.
Thank you, Trevor. You're my lawyer in this case.
I got you, fam. I'm not qualified as a lawyer, though.
Really? Because I called Jimmy John's and they told me, I don't know who Jake is. Stop calling us. We deliver subs.
Well, of course not. Jake's such a competent name. They wouldn't remember every single Jake that comes
Anyway, I
into
got a
their-
restraining order filed against me from the local Jimmy John's. But that is regardless of the fact.
The fact that hasn't been proven.
it doesn't look like it saved it. I'm not getting my
Quote bot
chat confirmation.
Has been dead.
Yeah, Quotebot might be
and
dead in
is
the
just
water.
Dead. Did
Right.
Streamlabs try to tell you like you need to pay to have QuoteBot?
Or else.
It didn't say that specifically. It just said we're moving some features behind a paywall, but they said it in a way where it maybe sounded less like they were jerks. But they didn't say which ones, and I was able to turn the bot on.
Is Streamlabs quote bot?
Cloudbot is the name of the bot. But the quotes is like a feature of it.
Yeah, I don't think it added the quote.
I don't think so either. I'm offended.
According to the Streamlabs website, it is still free.
Well, then why don't it do it?
Find and kill whoever killed.
What in the world is that?
It's a halberd.
Oh no!
Or a polearm. No, it's a polearm.
Chat,
Sorry.
our cameras aren't live yet, so I apologize if you're like, what in
It's
the
like
world?
Oh, is that a cover on it? Oh, okay. Goodness, I thought it was like a weird mall katana, like polearm thing. I got
just
a
a
dragon
normal blade.
katana thing.
Are we all gonna just grab our swords now?
Whatever.
Our
I don't
various
have a sword.
medieval weapons?
I could.
Yeah,
I
we
could
gotta
as well.
we gotta pick up arms. We're going to defend Quotebot.
I
I
figured
got
it
this
out.
utility knife.
It made it so that only mods could use the quote bot, although you all should be mods as well.
I am.
I would say Trevor literally is a mod.
And I did it as Winged Badger Gaming, so let's see if it works this
Wing
time.
Badger Gaming is not a mod for their own channel.
Yeah, well, why would you think that?
I don't know what's going on
Been
there.
hacked.
Dun dun dun.
Well,
Really worth hacking.
Oh well. We'll have to figure that out.
Trevor, open up a Google Doc and track all of our quotes. Just kidding.
I will do.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Stay
This is
present.
too
Be at the table.
important.
This is too important. The people need to know.
People need to know. Damn it.
You can't just eliminate a category from the Nemis.
That's true. We can't eliminate a category
This
from
is
the
a
enemies.
public service
Okay, well, anyway, our
for
faces
the
are on
good of
screen
all
now.
mankind.
This has been something. It's 8 o'clock. You want to play some games?
Yeah.
I love that enthusiasm,
Whoa.
Mike. That's fun stuff. I'm gonna turn off the music here so we can have this heart to heart and it can feel awkward and silent instead. Yeah, with the occasional
I'm
quack.
already feeling awkward.
Good. I want you to feel as uncomfortable as possible. You feel it? Can you feel it, Kronk? We're gonna do the cypher system, and that means we're gonna do a session 0. Yay!
Yeah.
This is our trial run of the cypher system. So chat, if you showed up because you know how the cypher system works, prepare to be deeply disappointed. We don't yet, but we're gonna build characters and all that kind of fun stuff tonight. And if we have time, maybe we'll do a little bit of gameplay. And if we don't, that's okay. We can start next week.
It's interesting with the Cypher system is I feel like a lot of the online resources that I find about it are presented from the perspective of people who are like, I just found this crazy thing and I'm going to tell you about it, as opposed to like people being like, I've been playing the Cypher system for years and here's what you need to know. So the idea of a Cypher system expert, which I'm sure there are, is still funny to me. Not funny to me, but like I haven't seen them because it's like all the online resources are like, let me tell you about this crazy random thing.
I found them.
this
They're just
job
on
requires-
Discord.
This job requires 40 years of Python experience.
Entry level.
So I do love how the icon for unguided looks like he's going to grab me and guide me anyway.
It's like,
It's like you will be
not
guided.
you. Unguided for others, not for you. Let's actually start with like the session 0-y things though, before we get to making characters. Session 0s include a number of things for those of you who are familiar with running tabletop games. And I want to cover like the world details and conceptual stuff first so that when we build the characters, we kind of know what we're trying to build. So the logline for our adventure, the pitch for the adventure we're about to play. When 4 campers get separated from their class at Camp Blunder, they must put their skills they've been learning into practice if they hope to survive. It's a little railroady, but it's a chance to try a lot of different skills and stuff. So that is the premise. The environment of our story will primarily be snowy forests and caves. There's no reason I can't share this with you on screen. I don't think there's any DM stuff on this page. Look how tiny that is for chat. I'll zoom in like I'm 60. There we go. So I always include some world truths in my prep sheets. By the way, players, all of you have this in Discord if you don't want to zoom in on it here, but they are things that not just you, the players, know, but also your characters know. These are common world truths. For example, everybody knows that Camp Blunder is a summer camp program for aspiring mages located in the remote snowy forests of southwestern Wereduck. The camp takes up a massive swath of forest that rings the base of a mountain called the Frozen Fang because it's shaped like a fang and it's cold there. The camp territory ends where the trees do, about a third of the way up the mountain. So that's the setting for our adventure. We know that the boss of Camp Blunder is Old Man Jeb, and he's nice enough, but it's camp counselor Poppy Peppermint who does most of the interaction with the youngsters these days. So she's probably the character who you as characters have met and interacted with. They are both small bipedal mole creatures called dirt folk, and Old Man Jeb is Counselor Poppy's father. The woods are not safe, and Old Man Jeb hasn't bothered clearing out the many interesting and dangerous creatures who call them home, believing it to be enriching and character building to occasionally fear for your life, even as a preteen. You are an adolescent, whatever that means for your heritage. So if you're an elf, you might be like 120. And you are attending the intermediate program at the camp. You have a basic grasp of what magic is and how it interacts with the world, but have not developed the skills necessary to interact with it yourself just yet. So here is your basic understanding of magic. Remember, this is the stuff that everybody knows, so it's not going to fill in all the gaps. Everything on the material plane is connected to and permeated by the weave. The weave also connects the material plane to the outer planes where the gods live via large ley lines. Sentient creatures move among the threads of the weave, going about their lives and somehow both drawing energy from and returning energy to the weave. Nobody really knows how this works, and most people are like, yeah, it's, you know, we're one is all and all is one kind of a thing. With practice, though, creatures may learn to identify the signs of surplus energy in the weave and draw that energy out, anchoring it to themselves. These knots of magic usually appear as small tattoos on the adept's body, although they don't need to. They can be flavored however a creature wants them to if they have the, mental acuity to do that. And once used, they disappear again. If a creature is killed, the knots of magic on their body can be tediously unwound and retied to another. As magi grow, they gain the capacity to tie more and more of these knots into themselves, allowing them to bear more magic simultaneously. Artificers have spent much of their time devoted to learning how to capture and sustain these knots of magic in various devices, which you might call artifacts. Some of them are more archaic, like wands and amulets, but some of them are more modern, like little timekeepers or firearms. Nobody seems to have cracked a truly permanent solution yet. All artifacts break down eventually with enough wear and tear. For reasons that are not well understood, some creatures gain permanent magical abilities. It's not known whether their bodies begin producing the same energy that floods the weave, whether they've inherited their powers, or whether some other effect is to blame. These creatures are incredibly rare and tend not to make their abilities known publicly because of the stir it could cause and the way they would stand out. In a mechanical sense, this is how the cypher system ciphers have come to be in the world. All of your character features are these innate abilities. You are those rare creatures who have innate magical abilities. Ciphers themselves, one-time use magical effects, are these little knots of magic that you can pull out of the weave, and artifacts are artifacts. They're items that can be depleted, basically external sources of magic. And lastly, the last truth of our world, ever since the Darkening, an event 2 generations before you were born, where magic briefly vanished from the world of Wereduck is littered with strange relics, and the wilds are overrun with strange creatures. It's dangerous to mix with these things, but it's also a source of boundless curiosity for many, and even an income for a few reckless guilds. So those are kind of truths of our world that everyone knows and that can maybe influence your character creation. They're also true about the longer adventure we'll play. I know we're doing like a test run, but all this lore, it's not like you're internalizing lore that we're only going to use for 3 weeks. This is all true for the whole world. So for our character guidelines, we will be first tier adventurers built using the cypher system. For the sake of simplicity, they will be built using what I'm calling the classic character sentence, basically an adjective, noun, who, verbs. We will not use the optional flavor components because I don't want us having to learn a bunch of extra features when we could just stick to the ones that are in the base for the practice. In our main adventure, go nuts. Flavor your characters however you want. We're going to do our character creation in full together right now at the table. You're only responsible for your character concept before this, and then we're going to make all of our characters together. We're even going to do them one at a time so that all of us get to see 4 characters made, just to really get a good sense of how the system works.
And so we can introduce ourselves.
And so you can introduce yourselves. This is actually the Josh show. I wasn't planning to give you guys like chances to talk.
Okay.
I was just gonna have you roll from time to time.
May I have a line?
And then before we get into like building the character, there are no homebrew mechanics. We're learning a new game. There's no way I was gonna like put some homebrew mechanics in it on day 1. And then lines and veils. Lines and veils are safety mechanisms for tabletop gaming, and they refer to topics that if they are lines, it's something that cannot take place at all within the game world. Like that's a line for me. I'm not willing to go across it. Veils are things that can take place in the world but must do so off screen, and I have my ones here as examples. Animal abuse is a line for me, which is not the same as like a creature dying, but like just needless abuse is a line. And then veils, I don't care if your characters have romantic or sexual relationships, but there's no way I'm going to RP them with you. So that's a veil for me. That has to happen off screen. And if those things come up in a session, we would just abstract them to like, you have a flirtatious conversation, roll for flirt, and then we would move on. Do you have any other lines or veils for any of you that we should add to this list before we start building characters?
I'll say those are actually the 2 standard ones that I have had in most campaigns that I've played, so I'm good with those 2.
I want to say, with knowing most of you, I don't think there's anything I need to like expressly put out there.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, I'm the same.
Mike, do you have any lines or veils? You're new to our group, so I want to make sure we give you a chance.
I want to see what awful things you guys say. I don't want to take anything off.
Let's go.
I want to make you feel safe, and then I'll take it away.
Let's go. The other tool, which I didn't write on here, but it's just basically a phrase. It's like, hey guys, let's pause for a second, and you can say that at any time if you're feeling uncomfortable with content that's happening in the game, and we will stop playing as characters and start talking as players about how we can change the direction of the story. And it's always okay in a tabletop game to back up 5 minutes and go, hey, that last thing, I'm not super comfortable with the direction we're going. Can we just change the story and go a different way? And like the world's going to keep turning. So just know you can always stop again and be like, hey, can we pause for a second? And that phrase will kind of cue me in that like, oh yeah, we're going to rewrite history. Let's go. So revisionist history, totally okay here at Wing Badger Tavern. That's what I'm saying.
If our previous campaign taught us anything, it's that revisionist history is totally okay.
Yeah, if we learned anything from a previous campaign, it's that remembering history is actually the part we can't do very well. Okay, so let's talk about our character concept. I asked you all to think about these individual questions before we got to the table. I'm sure you totally did and devoted lots of effort to it, but just because I want to make sure the chat knows what they are and, you know, has a chance to think about these things before we start, I'll remind you what they were. We want to know how your character ended up at Camp Blunder. Were they signed up by a loving parent? Were they forced to go? Are their friends here? Do they aspire to a career in magic? Whatever. What was the motivation for coming to camp? And why might the prospect of interacting with a strange or dangerous relic be distracting enough that your character would risk that danger to go exploring? The premise of our entire campaign is that you get distracted and separated from your group, so I want you to bake a reason into your character that they're going to do that. I'm not going to spend 3 sessions trying to, pull you in with different hooks. Something distracting will happen, and then you're going to go for it. We just need to know why. So hopefully you've been thinking about those things. Once we have kind of our concepts for our characters built, at the end of our session, we will come back and answer this question together, which is, how did they galvanize into a friend group at camp? We're going to pick up in basically like the middle of camp, like day 1 of week 2 or something like that. So you've had a little bit of time to like get to know each other, and all the little cliques that form at camps have already formed and that kind of thing. You've heard cool rumors and told scary stories around a fire. So that's something that we'll do as a group at the end. Those are all of the prep things. Is anyone particularly excited to start and wants to make their character first?
You know what? Put me on the firing line. Let's
go. Cleo, you should also have the character creator thing in front of you, like on your screen. Are you also looking at this, or do you want to just do it vicariously through me?
I'm doing it. I'm looking at this at your screen.
Okay. If you want to pull it up on your screen, I'm going to mirror all of your actions so chat can see, but it might be a lot easier to read if you have it on the monitor in front of you. You know what I mean? Cleo's like, reading.
I can read that. I have the stream up. I can read it on stream.
Okay.
I can't read it on Discord because it's a little tiny smaller.
Oh, so you're going to have to do it with a lag. There's going to be a 5-second lag between every choice Cleo makes.
No.
Cleo, you should probably do this on your screen.
Okay.
This is it's tools.cypher-system.com.
Proceeds to not want to be the sacrificial lamb
already.
Right?
Cleo, I don't want to pull it up. Also, Cleo, it's on an open tab somewhere.
The camera whips over to Cleo's Chrome header. It just says like 999 open tabs.
You joke.
Sounded like you were trying to sing something there.
Do I have to create an account? I thought I had already done this.
We're gonna start with someone else. Cleo, you're gonna figure it out. Who wants to go first besides Cleo?
I'll start.
Trevor's got it. We're gonna start with Trevor.
I have it pulled up already.
Nice.
Wow.
So Trevor, you should see a screen that's asking you to choose a campaign genre. Our campaign is a fantasy campaign. So we're gonna pick fantasy as our campaign genre.
Through unguided or guided?
No, we're doing it guided.
I'm doing guided.
And we're gonna do, if it's okay, we're gonna do them one at a time. So we'll come around to you next, Jake. Great.
No. I was just asking for my own curiosity.
For flavor, we're gonna say no flavor because we're being vanilla. So here's the first choice we want to make is your character type, and this is the most analogous to a class in D&D. So your type is going to determine a lot of your core abilities, and our options are Adept, Explorer, Speaker, and Warrior. Trevor, have you been thinking about these already, or would you like a quick overview of what each one is?
I've been thinking about them already.
Okay. Where are we going?
I am thinking either Adept or Explorer. I think Adept is the way I'm gonna go. So the like archetype I'm going is like kid who grew up in like a rich family whose parents like smothered them, and so like he was like homeschooled because his parents didn't like, you know, whatever education system was around, and so he like grew up in like a mansion but like all by himself and like kind of isolation, and so like they sent him to this camp to like try and make friends, and they're, like, really supportive, but like he just doesn't have any like good social skills, but he likes, you know, like wandering around the grounds of where he grew up and like climbing trees and exploring himself, and he's like interested in the outside world. He just hasn't had that opportunity to like get out there yet.
So are you just playing me?
Gosh, Trevor just took my character concept.
It's okay to have multiples of a character concept.
Sorry, Jake.
So we're gonna choose Adept, is what you said, Trevor?
Yeah. I think
okay. And then we'll talk about our focus. So this is the verb of the adjective, noun, who verbs, and Adept, who somethings. Based on what you said, Trevor, I have a good guess of what focus you're going to choose, but feel free to peruse them all before you make a call.
Descends from nobility is pretty on the mark.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at them to see if.
Sure. So I'll read while you look through those. I'll read for chat some of the abilities that you get if you descend from nobility. At tier 1, which is where we're going to be probably for this whole adventure, we get privilege, nobility, and retinue. Privilege nobility means that when you are recognized, you are able to claim the rewards a noble background can generate. So you could be seated at any eating establishment, no matter how full, get a room at an inn, even if it means they'll turn someone else out. They'll let you into courts or other like legal buildings, invite you to fancy parties, things like that. So basically you're able to step in and be like, but I'm important. Do you know who I am? And, get your way to things. A little bit of a spoiled rich kid attitude there. And retinue is 4 level 2 followers join you. So I just am picturing you going to summer camp to meet friends, but with your staff. You just have you're like your butler and your barber and your whatever.
No, where his retinue?
That's the party or his retinue. Let's go. So that's what retinue is. I think you might have to choose between them. We'll get to the point where you pick your actual abilities.
Okay. I'm definitely picking that one though.
Okay, so we're going with descends from nobility, and then we have a descriptor. So your descriptor is an adjective, and it has some influence over your character as well. And this might be a good chance to look for that like kind of social clumsiness that you talked about, because that's something that hasn't really been reflected yet in the others. Do you have an idea of which one you'd like to do?
Naive is pretty on point with what I described.
Naive, you've lived a sheltered life. Yeah, that works. There's also the other one I saw is tongue-tied. I was just reading through that. But it looks like tongue-tied is all about interaction, and naive is more about being sheltered, so that might be better.
There was one other I wanted to look at.
Which one?
Mysterious?
Mysterious.
Tell us more about this mysterious noble, or would you like it to remain a mystery?
Yeah, I think naive is good.
Naive.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
feels like
then
character creation music.
this is kind of fun character creation music. Yeah, I'm actually going to let this loop for the next 3 weeks, so get excited about that. So they have some suggestions here for fantasy races. If you just choose human, it just won't add any racial modifiers, which I feel like maybe is easier to process, but if you want to experiment with one of these other ones, that's fine. They're all in the source. It's fine to use them, but it's up to you.
I'll just stick with human.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
Default human.
So now we're at the point where you're going to actually choose your abilities. So you can choose 4 abilities from the list of all possible adept abilities. So these are all tier 1 abilities. You'll have them when you start. And this is your like innate magic stuff. Like the adept things are all pretty arcane in nature.
First one I'm going to take is Resonance Field.
Resonance Field. Chat, Resonance Field says, faint lines in a color you choose form a tracery over your entire body and emit a faint light. The effect lasts for 1 minute. Whenever a creature within immediate range makes an attack against you, the pattern energizes to block the attack. You can make an intellect defense roll in place of the defense roll you would normally take. If you do so, and you get a minor effect, which is a critical 19, so rolling a 19 on the die. If you get a minor effect, the creature attacking you takes 1 point of damage. If you get a major effect, a natural 20, the creature attacking you takes 4 points of damage, and you do need to use an action to initiate. So it's like a whole turn basically where you're like casting your resonance field.
Yeah. Scan will be my second one.
You scan an area equal in size to a 10-foot cube, including all objects or creatures within the area. The area must be within short range. Scanning a creature or object always reveals its level. So this, in Cypher system chat, knowing the level of a creature is way more useful than it is in D&D. It's not like challenge ratings where it's like wibbly wobbly and doesn't really mean anything. Everything is derived from a creature's level, how much health they have, how much damage they do, how many times they can attack, all that kind of stuff. So that's really helpful information about a creature. And then it gives a bunch of examples of what it might mean to scan things. One thing that it tells you as a limitation.
However, this ability doesn't tell you what the information means.
There it is. You're right. So sometimes you might learn like, oh, that cylinder is full of gas, but you might not know what exactly the gas will do or something like that.
Far step?
Far step?
Yeah.
Far step is like Misty Step, except you don't like disappear and appear on the other end. You leap through the air and land some distance away. You can jump up, down, or across to anywhere you choose within long range, which is up to about 100 feet. If you have a clear and unobstructed path to that location, you land safely. It is an action.
And then my last one is going to be Shatter.
Shatter. Shatter, you interrupt the fundamental force holding normal matter together for a moment, causing the detonation of an object you choose within long range. That's a metal way to describe something blowing up. The object must be a small, mundane item composed of homogeneous matter, like a clay cup, an iron ingot, a stone, and so on. The object explodes in an immediate radius, dealing 1 point of damage to all creatures and objects in the area. If you apply effort to increase the damage, you deal extra damage. That's how that would work. And it is an action to do. One of the things you might be seeing here, chat, is that there is a cost to use these abilities where it'll say like cost 2 intellect or cost 1 intellect or whatever. in the Cypher system, unlike D&D, your statistics include a pool of points that are kind of like mana. If you've played any of the card games that that kind of run this way, like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering or whatever, where you can spend up to your pool before you have to rest, and if you don't rest, you die. So that's when it says that, it's like, oh, from my intellect pool, I need to use a point to do that ability. All right, that is 4 of those. Let's go to the next page here. So now we're going to assign your pool points. That's what I was just talking about. So in addition to your starting position, you can assign 6 more points to your might, speed, and intellect pools. And while you're thinking of where those will go, I will explain what edge is for the chat here as well. So edge is a way of reducing the cost of your effort. So remember, we said effort is when we're going to spend extra points from our pool. So I'm going to do a might task, but I want to try extra hard. I want to apply effort. So I'm going to spend some of the points in my pool in order to roll better. Edge reduces how much it costs to do that. So if I have an edge of 1, let's use intellect on this one because that's where the edge is on screen, just so it's less confusing. So I have a pool of 12 points of intellect. I need to spend 3 of them to apply a level of effort. But because my edge is 1, I can do that with only 2 points. And then for the next level of effort, I need to spend 2 points, but I can do it with 1, and so on and so forth. So that's how edge works. Have you chosen where to assign your points?
We're gonna put 2 into the intellect pool.
Okay.
3 into speed.
Okay.
1 more in speed and 1 more in intellect.
I think you only have 1 more point on top of that.
I should be 15, 12, 0 or 7. Sorry.
Okay.
15, 12, 7.
Yep. That's right. Might is a dump stat. Let's go.
We don't need that.
We jump to the next screen here. These are your final character details. So we're going to do your name. You don't need to worry about equipment because you're going to be issued the standard adventurer's gear when you arrive at Camp Blunder. So don't worry about inventory for this one. But what would your name be?
I'm open to suggestions, everyone.
No.
FantasyNameGenerator.com.
Classic.
All right, you are a noble, right? Sheltered noble.
How are you going to talk? Is there an accent you're going to use? Because that might help. Like a name that sounds funny in the accent might be good.
I have not practiced or worked on that.
Okay.
Here you
You're
go.
a fancy noble, yes.
Corvus. Corvus?
What?
Corvus. I'm Corvus.
Tiberius. Hello, I am Tiberius.
Henry.
Norlock?
Henry Norlock.
Henry's a noble name.
Henry?
Henry Norlock.
You could just be, you could be like last name the third or something like that.
or you are at my service, actually.
Your name could be Timothy, but you go by Tom because you don't like Timothy.
I kind of want like the really like
Hi, Belly. I see you in the chat.
snobby last name, you know, like Worthington or like
Worthington, yes.
I don't know. I can't think of any crazy noble names, but like on that level, at least the last name.
Charles?
Alabaska Boo.
Like you can go with like Charles.
Actor Sam Worthington.
Larstane.
Sam's actually not a bad one.
Larstane is great.
Larstane
I
is-
like that.
Yeah.
Larstane Worthington.
Tiberius Larstane.
Oh, there you
I think I
go.
want Larstane to be his first name, and
Okay.
he goes by Lars for short.
Ah,
Larstane Lars.
You disrespect me, and there'll be a stain on your career.
His last name could be Starlane. Larstane Starlane.
That's funny. I like that.
We're doing it? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Larstane Starlane.
Excellent. Larstane Starlane. Larstane
and he still
Starlane.
goes by Lars, so it's Lars Starlane.
Yeah.
And for now, we'll leave the genre type thing as just adept. You can just make up a different name for the class if you want. So, like, if you want, instead of a warrior, you wanted to be called a gunslinger or whatever, you could do that.
Yeah, stain on. I was going somewhere with that.
Boom.
So don't worry about the equipment.
Yeah, don't worry about the equipment. And on the top right of your character sheet, when you get to the next page, you'll see that it's assigned you some randomly generated ciphers. You can delete those too.
Delete them.
So you can click on each one. and delete
Ignore
it.
their screams.
That's right. Ignore their screams. You don't need them, and they don't need you. Because you're going to be discovering ciphers throughout the adventure.
Okay, the ciphers are gone.
Good. And that
Cipher.
is one character done made.
Nice.
All right.
Just to give you a brief overview of how to navigate this, if you click on any of the skills, it explains how they work. And on the right, you can see which pool they use. So there's an I for intellect and what they cost. And then T, S, and I is telling you how much help the skill gives you. So T is for trained. It will ease a task by 1 step. S is for specialized. It eases a task by 2 steps. I is an inability. It hinders tasks by 1 step. So that's just basically categories about you that will make difficulty easier or harder.
Any task that involves seeing through deception or determining someone's secret motive.
So Zoth, at least in the beginning,
Yeah, and then heavy and medium weapons, which makes sense. Okay.
yeah. Who would like to go next?
All right. I was ready, and I am ready. I am already at the adept screen.
Oh, let's go.
All right.
You're making an adept. I'm gonna race here to catch up.
I didn't click on adept.
Oh, okay.
I'm at that screen.
Great. I'm now here with you. Let's go, Cleo.
All right. So I'm telling you right now, this is the character idea I got in my head.
Let's do it. What's the concept?
In this case, this is, he just been growing up in the woods with his family, and he just does what he thinks she does right. He's just humble, low down to earth, and he don't know much else around, and his whole extended family saved up. Because he's the only grandchild in the entire extended family, and they wanted him to experience something nice and fruitful for once. So they sent him on this camp. Now he's a warrior. All right, working on the farm does that for you. Working in the woods does that for you.
I'm picturing the swamp benders from Avatar.
Now, I haven't gone any further than this. So
All right. So now we're looking at focuses. So this is like a down-to-earth, works with his hands kind of guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what we've got in here. We've got lives in the wilderness.
Lives in the
You can
wilderness.
survive in badlands where others perish. So that one feels pretty good. There's performs feats of strength. That might be good for like he's working with his hands.
Speaks for the land. What is? Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. He ain't necessarily that
D&D
much.
Lorax.
Yeah, speaks for the land.
He ain't a Lorax.
Okay. There's throws with deadly accuracy if he's like an axe thrower.
Oh no, that ain't. He has too much.
Walks the wild woods, an adherent of nature magic who draws on the power and strength of trees, like specifically trees. That's cool. Some of these abilities you could turn into a tree. That is the Lorax. You're right.
Lorax, I am the tree.
There are 2 trees inside of you.
I feel like either he is gonna be stands like a bastion,
Okay.
or what was that other one up there?
Lives in the wilderness.
Speaks
in
for the
wilderness.
trees. Oh.
He is the Lorax. He is the trees.
I'm thinking probably. See, I feel like both of these would be really good for this kind of down-to-earth character.
Mm-hmm.
He's just hard-working every day. He's got muscles.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody roll me a D100. Pull out them die. Let's get the dice roll going.
Jake said he got his dice out earlier. Oh, Mike's got him.
All right, Mike.
Let's go.
Above 100, we're going.
Did you say above 100 on a D100?
Above 50. I'm at above 50 to 100. We're going with lives in the land or whatever, and the other one's the bastion one. And if we're low, we're going bastion.
You got a 46.
We got a 40. We're a bastion.
He's a bastion. That makes
Stand
sense.
like a bastion.
Back when Overwatch was a game we played, Cleo was bastion then too.
A monkey and hammer time? Was that what we said?
Yeah, we did do that sometimes. Stands like a bastion. Your armor, along with your size, strength, incredible training, or machine enhancements, make you difficult to move or hurt. Love it. And then his descriptor. What descriptor? Right. You could even just look at the adjectives and see which ones will describe him well. Rugged was the first one that jumped out at me.
Ooh, rugged's a good one. Resilience, another good one. I feel like he's very slow moving when it comes to thinking, right? He's like, I'll make up my mind in time.
Okay, so he's like a pensive or like a thoughtful.
He does honest work, and anything more than that, he'll take his time and appreciate it, but he ain't gonna rush into anything. You know? He's loyal as well. Okay. I'd say he's a loyal friend. There are so many good options. God, I'm in the candy store and there's so much good candies lying about.
So much candy in this candy store.
Josh went to the candy shop.
I like that you said the candy is lying about. Like, do you go into stores where they just pour all the stuff on the ground and then you sort of wander around to pick what you want?
You know what? I think he's honorable.
Honorable?
You know, down to earth, he's honorable.
Trustworthy, fair, and forthright. You try to do what is right to help others and treat them well.
It's honest work.
That makes sense to me.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Are you going to use one of the other races or just go with human?
I'm gonna go. Go with the default. Come on now.
Lizard folk.
I was thinking tiefling.
Hellborn is probably the closest to tiefling that's on here.
You know, that's why he lived in the woods alone with his family, right? Is because his family didn't necessarily teach him, you know, like, hey, we're shunned on the outside, and we may have our little extended family out here living in the woods, but
I see you.
But they're like, you know, you need to go learn. You need to learn the outside world, and so we're gonna send you off on this adventure, little day camp.
Okay.
So yeah, we're Hellborn.
I just want to point out that Hellborn includes a trait called Inner Evil. You sometimes lose control and risk hurting your allies.
All right, maybe not Hellborn.
I will make for the next, like for the long length game that we play, I'll like build the custom races that you guys want with you, because there are structures for how to do that. Mm-hmm. You could use a dwarf, which is just like kind of a built dude, and we could just say that he's a tiefling.
Everyone lets him pretend. A family full of dwarves that think they're tieflings. Everyone's like, sure, guys, whatever.
You know what? I think dragon folk. You know, dragon folk.
They're like 132nd tiefling way back in their heritage. They're like, yeah, I'm tiefling. A dragon folk. Okay. And then it is time to choose your abilities.
I feel like he's trained without armor. But let's look at our other options here. Okay.
Physical skills seems like one that fits with your premise for him. You just pick 2 skills that you're not already trained in.
Where?
Physical skills, P. It's an
oh yeah.
Thank you, Trevor.
All right, I see how it is.
It also says you can pick this one multiple times, so hypothetically you could get 8 like might-based skills out of this instead of anything else.
I feel like bash is another good one.
Chat, bash is the ability to daze your opponent when you hit them.
Dazed and confused.
Oh,
aren't we all?
I might take improved edge.
Okay. Is that a definite one there?
Yeah, I got bash, physical skills, and I'm gonna take improved edge as my third one.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm gonna say no need for weapons.
No need for weapons. Your punches and kicks count as medium weapons.
Nice.
Weapons. for the most part in the Cypher system are just light, medium, and heavy. There are lots of flavor of light, medium, and heavy, but for the statistical purposes, they're just one of those three. So, all right. And then we're looking at your skills. So you get to give yourself 2 more skills. In the Cypher system, there is not a default skill list, although on the right side of your screen, there's a bunch of examples of skills. You can choose the specific skills that you want your person to have, and you can make them as unique or creative as you want. And then you will also be pitching on when you use your skills. So anytime you're presented with a challenge, you say, I want to do thing. And I say, great, thing seems pretty tough. It might be a difficulty of 4. And you go, but I've got a skill in thing, so that should ease the task down to a difficulty 3. And like, it's a negotiation. So you're gonna pitch me on how to use your skills.
Can I put camping?
Yeah.
Like all things related to like simple shelter, nothing crazy. I can't do nothing crazy. I can put a little lean-to on a tree or something, and I can put together a small little fire.
Sure. Camping. Trained in camping. When playing Halo with this person, expect them to be in the same spot every time.
Which in Halo, it's not quite as bad of an offense as
It's
it
a
is
legitimate
in like
strategy.
Call of Duty.
And we'll say we'll be trained in like herb gathering.
Maybe foraging.
Foraging. How do you spell forage? I'm a bad speller.
Foraging.
That's what I thought, but it looks wrong to me. But I'm gonna believe you. All right, I only get to add 2. It keeps saying
You get, so you only get to add the 2 skills.
Okay.
All right, skill points.
Yeah, so then on the next page.
On the next screen. Okay, let's go.
So now we're assigning pool and edge points. So you get, because of the way that you are, you get to choose where you want your edge. The adept, it was like defaulted into intellect. But for you as a warrior, you can assign your edge to one of your edge points has to be might or speed. We can see that under warrior, it says. And then the other one must be from an ability.
Yes. I took improved edge.
Okay.
Choose one of your edge stats that is 0, increase it to 1.
Great, so you'll end with 2 1s.
Yeah. It does specifically say that, even though it does allow me to go above 1, I do realize that is not the intended effect.
This is a fairly new tool, this online creator. It's actively being developed this year. I'm in the Discord with the guys who are making it and have submitted several bug reports just this week as I figured out how it worked so I could show you. So they're on it, but yeah, there are a couple little
Well, all the power to them. This is a very nice tool for being currently in active development.
Yeah, they're killing it.
You know what?
Yeah, if anybody from Cypher Unlimited is looking at this, we appreciate you. You do real
Yeah, no
ones.
kidding.
We're gonna put all right, so edge is going into both might and speed. We're putting an edge into both.
Both.
That's the online version of both. That one just slipped out. I'm sorry.
And we're gonna go ahead. We're putting 4 into might and 2 into speed.
All right. Mighty indeed.
And I think that's everything, right?
Yep. And then we just need to name you, and you won't have any equipment, because I'm gonna give you all your equipment.
Try to call me Darian Zariel. Get out of here. So we're gonna go with
Larry.
Larry.
Larry is a double layer of funny because Cleo, for better or worse, has been stuck in tabletop games with me for like 10 years, and Tim and Larry are my default NPC names. So Cleo has met hundreds of Larrys playing tabletop games with me.
We'll go with his name's Fork. His name's Fork, all right?
Fork?
Hey,
Let's
Fork.
go.
His name's Fork, and it's spelled Forke. It's got an E on the end, all right? Don't you forget it.
Love
So
it.
you know it's a real name.
No surname.
His surname is Yorlong.
Fork your long. What do I do with that?
Yorlong. All right.
Fork. You're
Does anyone say like fork you're long.
That's what I was wondering. It's like, what is this? How is this derived?
I want you to know I came up with the name with your long first, and I was just like, I need a basic, simple name for a basic, simple dragon folk, and this is what I came up with.
Okay, great.
It works.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, I hit create, and I'm good, right?
You're good. Who would like to go
Nice.
next, Mike or Jake?
I could go.
Let's go, Mike.
Mike.
We're gonna make a fantasy
stole
character
Jake's
with no
concept.
flavor. What are you?
I had a very similar but mildly different thing in mind than Trevor.
Okay.
So it was. I think I'm also going to go adept. My guy, I was thinking he's similarly sheltered, not like, more like a middle class kind of family, but like his he wants to come to this camp so that he can make friends. His parents are hesitant for him to do that. Like they want him to make friends, but they know that he has a penchant for doing anything to make someone like him. So like I'll eat that bug if it means that I get to come over to your house for a few minutes and something. Like I'll do anything.
You
just
said
to,
he
like,
was an
hang out with
adept?
them, but yeah, I think I want to
Okay.
go with the adept.
So he's an adept who's like looking for like chaos, basically.
He's just, I mean, he just wants to hang out, and like
Okay.
people
He's
just
a
don't.
pleaser.
Yeah, people just don't give me a fair shot. You know, like I'm a cool guy. Just test me.
Just
me, man.
test me.
I'll kill a
mark of
man
the-
if you tell me. I'll do it.
Mark of a good friend is loyalty, and that's something I sure as hell am. You just give me the task. I'll show you.
Do you have
I think adept.
do you have a focus in mind for this adept?
I had a few that I was looking at. I was looking ahead a little bit.
Okay.
So I was looking at crafts unique objects because I think that's a good way to make friends.
Okay.
Is like just to have a guy.
make
And maybe like
friends?
a reason why people to make friends or partially why people don't shut up. Hold on one second. I've been lacking on my job. Hold on one sec. Hey.
There it is. Let's go.
Great. So I was thinking about that because like if he's kind of like stays inside, like this is cool stuff. Like who wouldn't want me to like make a little a little weasel out of a pine cone and some shoelaces that I stole from their shoes, you know?
Cool. Cool.
Something like that. I was also looking at Howls at the Moon. Because I thought that was fun. He's just a weird guy, but then also he's this really people pleaser guy, but then he's also just kind of a werewolf on the inside.
I'm looking at the list of abilities you get from Howls at the Moon, and it's beast form, bigger beast form, greater beast form, enhanced
Yeah.
beast form.
Just this really nice guy that just every now and again just goes off, and maybe that's why no one wants to hang out with him, because he turns into a monster every 5 days a month.
They sent him to camp because they think he just has anger issues and needs to develop social skills.
Just like I was out last night and I woke up and I was all covered in blood. I don't know who's so I thought that'd be fun. There's also Never Says Die. Again, going in with the thought of he'll do anything. He's just become so resilient.
That's
Like,
pretty
just
fun.
Keep getting knocked down and get back up. It's like, yeah, I might have just taken that cannonball to the chest, but I'm fine, man. Like, did you think it was cool?
Did you think it was cool?
Cool. That's
That's awesome. Then there's also Rides the Lightning, which was just kind of fun.
Rides the lightning is such a cool way to describe yourself. Like, yeah, I ride the lightning.
Rides the literally just electrical powers. I
What's
think it's just
foretold is really
fun.
interesting.
Which one is it?
Was foretold.
Was foretold. I saw the name. I didn't look at it. What
It's,
all is that?
it's all about how you are the chosen one of a prophecy.
I think he's too humble for that. So I'm pretty torn between those. Howls at the Moon. The more I talked about it, I got pretty interested in that.
It's pretty fun. I think that's
This is pretty fun. I also
unique.
liked
Eagle
Never Say
werewolf.
Die, like based on your way of describing how it would be implemented was pretty fun
Right.
too.
Oh my god.
There's just
thinking.
murders. That's character. I just saw that one. I'm like, huh.
Yeah. Goodness, do I need to do a roll too to figure it out? I'm also
You can roll a d4. You got 4 options here.
You can roll a D100 and then set the limit above 100.
Worst case, you'll roll and then you'll realize while it's rolling which one you wanted. Like there's no reason you have to hold to the
I
roll.
love doing that with a coin. It's like if you see the result comes up and it makes your heart hurt, it's like it's probably not the right one for you.
Yeah.
I'll roll a d4 and see what happens. And it fell off the table. Hold on. I can't decide. It told me twice to do ride the lightning.
Okay.
But that was the one I was thinking of cutting.
Okay, well let's cut it. Just take that one off the list and then.
Okay, I'm doing 50-50. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do
Which 2 are we 50-50?
Howls at the moon and never says die.
Okay.
Okay.
Below 100 is Howls at the moon. Never
Above 100 is never says die.
It's easy to do. It's easy to do.
I thought you were doing it as a roast. I didn't realize that you had actually done it too.
It's infectious.
Cleo's math is spreading.
Cleo-isms, they spread.
I'm contagious. I'm sorry, guys.
You have to leave before we're all infected.
My heart keeps screaming to be a werewolf, so I think I'll
Do it.
Howls at the moon.
Be a werewolf if your heart desires it.
I think it's the only one that I keep staring at. Like everything else is fun, but that's just it seems like it's gonna be a wild time.
Great. Also, as a reminder, it doesn't say you have to become a wolf. It just says you become a fearsome and powerful creature. So you're gonna pick a creature, but it doesn't have to be a wolf. So
you can change into a
A
monstrous.
fearsome and powerful duck.
Let's go. Then you can walk up to lemonade stands and ask for grapes.
I'll kill
What
you.
would win? 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
One
can answer
duck-sized
this
little
question.
boy. Oh my god.
And then we have a descriptor. Chaotic is jumping out at me.
How's at the moon?
Crash.
No. All right. So the ones I had were clumsy. Because he's just a silly little guy. Grace is awkward. Another thing that makes sense. What's that? That gets dumb luck or something.
Yeah.
Ridiculous in there. I had that. I had fast. Just because he's used to running around and doing what other people tell him, or like someone will
The
just.
visual of a duck zooming with like a little dust cloud kicked up behind it.
What about impulsive? Oh my goodness.
Impulsive was another one that I looked at. That one felt the most correct, given like how I've been describing him.
Yeah.
That's
As far
fair.
as I'll do whatever. Even if you've never asked me to do, if I think that you'll want me to do it and I think it'll make you like me, I'll do it.
Impulsive, you have a hard time tamping down your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Is that the other one was naive, which also kind of fits.
How funny would it be if all of you were naive?
Everyone's a naive adept.
Oh, is that what you did, Trevor?
I did naive, yeah.
What are you leaning towards, Mike?
I think I'll do the impulsive.
Okay.
Impulsive sounds fun.
An impulsive adept who howls at the moon. We're looking at your species.
Species, I think I'm just gonna go human. That's just a regular little guy. I thought about gnome. Oh, that makes it even more fun if it's a duck. Uh-oh.
Then he's like, I get bigger when I transform.
Mice. I go from tiny gnome to regular sized duck. That's
Halfling.
It is halfling.
Is that what you decided?
I think gnome going from a little gnome to a slightly larger duck is a very fun image in my head. I think we'll go with the gnome. Howls at the moon.
I really like the idea that it's the specific Discord quack that you do to the moon. Like you throw back your head and the music crescendos and then it's just whack. Okay, pick your abilities. What do you want to be good at? What do you do?
Let's see.
What a concept.
I was looking at ones that were along with this guy. I was thinking What was picked for our last adept?
Doesn't matter what was picked for our last adept. Forget party balance. Pick what's fun for you.
All right. I was thinking of just making him again more resilient. So I was thinking resonance field.
Nice.
Okay, you do have a couple gnome options at the bottom there too.
Oh, what?
I think those are separate from the actual abilities, though.
You choose one of the gnome abilities in addition. Oh, you're right. You additionally gain one of the 3 gnome abilities.
You've got to know all of your options.
You got to gnome when to hold them.
Communication, probably not.
Whack.
Eyes adjusted, can see extremely dim light. Hey! Single image of a creature. I was thinking minor illusion, but there's already, isn't there one like that? Hedge magic or something? Small text.
The difference is that minor illusion can be bigger. It can fit within a 10-foot cube. Hedge magic is like little teeny effects.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, and I think I'll do minor illusion.
Okay.
It's fun. It's another way I can entertain people.
And then you said you were looking at, what was the other one? Resonance field?
Resonance field. And along with that, ward.
You have a shield of energy around you at all times that helps deflect attack. That's a permanent +1 to armor. That's cool.
Gotta be sturdy.
Oh, you don't even have to cast that?
Nope. Anything that says enabler is a thing that's just happening.
Oh.
Just jumping off a cliff.
At least that's my understanding.
Okay,
Jumping
so
off
cliffs. Do hedge magic. Well, if I'm not doing that, then I think I'm gonna go with push. Just because
You always say it like that when you cast it.
Yeah, push. Sometimes I get a little fed up and people are to me and I need to get them away.
Or you just go quack. You get pushed away from you.
The creature you're pushing must be your size or smaller.
You better make sure you're a duck when that happens.
Yeah, duck gives you a little push boost there.
Oh, man. Can't use just pull and lift. Oh no. Oh, that makes it pretty much useless, doesn't it?
You did this
Not
to
if you're
you.
fighting other.
Gosh, how small are the enemies in this campaign?
I mean, it's a bunch of kids at camp. I don't know if they're duck-sized kids.
Let's see.
Who knows what's in the woods, though?
I think I'll
I just
do...
wanted to bring it to your attention before you pick.
No, that's a very good. I was not reading. Close enough. I will then do, I think, distortion, because sometimes if someone wants me to steal something for them, I need to be sneaky.
Okay, you modify how
Do
a
I
willing
count
creature
as a
reflects
willing-
light for 1 minute.
Do I count as a willing creature, or is it only another person?
I think
It is unspecified. I'm going to say that you can be within short range of yourself, so I think that
Okay.
as long as you're willing.
Okay, then also last one, erase memories, because I need to get a second chance at being friends with that person. And if they, if I made
If they
myself
see
too
you turn into
embarrassed-
a duck, you have to like, hey, look at this bright light for me for a second.
Exactly. Yeah, no one can know that I'm actually a duck.
This is way better if you're a duck who occasionally turns into a gnome.
That's my wild shape. Just hang out with a duck. You think I'm the camp pet, and then I just like turn into a guy. It's like, where you been, man? Just a slightly angry short man.
Because you're a gnome, you get training in 2 skills that suit your creative nature. What 2 skills would you like to be trained in?
Can I just say like outgoing?
You could say he's good at being like, maybe he's charming.
Charming. Well, if he's not good at getting friends, I'm hesitant to say that he's charming. But he's persistent.
So maybe he's good at, maybe he handles rejection well. Maybe that's what we call the skill. Like
I
he's,
feel like he handles rejection wrong if that's the
Given the memory loss. Memory loss strat.
maybe his skill could be funny or witty or something like that. Like he tells jokes.
He could, yeah, because I thought about wanting him to do, because he's definitely performative. He's putting on some sort of show, but he's like
physical comedy.
I thought about
You could just is performing his skill.
could yeah, like there is acting on there. I could
Yeah.
do like a performing or acting, or could I do like contortionist?
Contortionist.
Yeah, you could be a contortionist, sure.
Is that like I'll make myself be anything and someone wants me to be?
A contortionist duck.
Just a tiny flexible duck.
Sure, trained in contortionist.
Yeah.
And then what's
Okay.
your second one? You get a second skill that you're trained in.
Second one. Is happy a skill?
Is happy.
You could say he's trained in positivity. Like, and then you could lean on like your positivity. Like if you're in a scary
What about
place, you
public
could be like, this will ease a scary task because I'm positive.
Yeah. Just like a sunny disposition.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, it's just kind of Oh, looking on the bright side. That's good.
Cool.
Almost bardish, keeping spirits up.
Nice.
There you go.
That brings us to your pool points.
Shoot.
You have 6 pool points to assign.
Just swimming in them, you could say.
A good way to figure out where you want to put them is to look at what all of your abilities cost, and you only have abilities that cost intellect, so bear that in mind. You'll be spending a lot of intellect points, and particularly if you erase memories, which costs 3 of them at a time.
I can be a little fast. I want to put 3 more into intellect.
Okay.
I'll do 2 more into speed.
Okay.
Quick little gnome, and then 1 into might.
Cool.
It's a little hardy. 8, 13, 7.
And then we just got to name this majestic creature.
That would be Norbin Bargle.
That's a perfect name.
And you can delete the equipment. We'll take care of the equipment in between.
Where the hell's my damn name?
Oh,
Look, we're gonna believe you that he's there. There he is. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's gone. He's back.
Norbin Bargle.
Let's go.
You needed a spelling of it. Yes.
nice.
You're the one who's gonna actually save this character sheet. I'm just
Okay.
hitting the buttons with you.
I was supposed to be doing something?
Yep. You were supposed to be doing something.
Okay, and I have $2 million, correct?
That's what we said. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
All right, Jake. Let's make your flavorless fantasy character.
All right. This
Sorry for taking your idea.
It's okay. I have one that I actually like better than my
There we
previous
go.
idea.
Happy
So,
accident.
this character, somewhat similar to Cleo's character, but not quite. Grew up out in the wilderness.
Okay.
Except with some sort of nomadic tribe that is constantly on the move. And this character, at a certain point in this tribe, you're supposed to strike out on your own for a little while and kind of prove that you're worthy of being considered an adult in the tribe, and then eventually you come back to the tribe and kind of resume your citizen. This is a very nebulous tribe; doesn't have to ever be fleshed out. But
Oh, it will be.
this character, but this character strikes out on his own and just shows up at the camp and starts pretending to be a student. Just is like, oh, this is interesting, and there's a bunch of kids about my age here.
It's very on brand for Old Man Jeb to not notice.
I'm here now, and I'm gonna participate. And this character kind of is gonna like try to stay in the back of all of the crowds during the lessons and things like that. But I would assume eventually falls into this group. Just kind of maybe.
You know what?
There's. What do you say,
Sorry,
Cleo?
I'm just imagining in my head right now, there's this people pleaser, right? I'm imagining he's really trying to please the noble. And you know what? I probably have just been sticking around in the back, and so I've just met you. But the people pleaser's also trying to please me, and so this is how we're just slowly getting to know each other.
I think that's great.
Everybody knows each other through that one guy who turns into a duck sometimes.
Yes, correct.
Hey guys, what are you doing tonight? I'm gonna be a duck, so
If you hear any quacking, don't worry. It's not dangerous.
it's fine. Just put a little bar over the door. I'll be fine.
I love that you
Aggressive
would-
clapping inside.
I'm just imagining you giving your friends the talk like a werewolf would, like, hey, you know, once every lunar cycle, I become a danger to like small frogs. Like, you just need to, you know, just tread carefully when the moon is full if you have any small pets, because
One vision.
Jake, what character type will this person be?
I think, given the description, I think like explorer is appropriate.
Okay.
Kind of a sort of ranger-ish disposition.
Person of action and physical ability.
Yep. I'm thinking of especially kind of focusing in on tracking and speed and agility kind of things.
Okay.
So, all right. Unlike Mike, I did not do any pre-reading of
That's okay.
These descriptors.
There were two that I can
or
think
focuses.
of that fits with. One of them is hunts. You are a stalking hunter who excels at bringing down your selected quarry, although that's more of a combat flair for it.
That's true.
And the other one was maybe explores dark places. You're an archetypal like treasure hunter, scavenger, finder of lost things. They might not be perfect though.
You're build robots.
robots. Yeah, that's totally what this character does.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
There's Masters of the Swarm. That's pretty cool.
that is cool. Walks the Wild Woods is interesting. If I remember correctly, that was not what
It
Cleo's
is not the
character
one
took.
Cleo went with. Walks
Okay.
the Wild Woods is an adherent of nature magic who draws on the power and strength of trees.
It's the tree one.
Yeah.
Are you the Lorax?
I think this character is a little bit the Lorax. I think that's kind of
It's
fun.
just on
I
the
think
full
it-
moon.
I think I'd like to add a little bit of flavor to this tribe. That this tribe is very communal with nature,
Sure.
and I think that is a certainly a part of this character's background. So I think walks in the wild woods is something that I would like to do.
Cool.
Nice.
And then we need a adjective for you, a descriptor.
Yeah. Let's see here. Foolish, I don't think is what I want to go for. Hideous is funny.
There's guarded,
Guarded.
which might fit.
I feel like you're jovial, or just like this kind of force of camp. I don't know, just the idea that you just showed up at camp and you're like, I'm here now.
You could be weird.
Wait, I think we already have a duck that is quite weird.
That's
I'm
true.
a cool guy. I'm a normal guy.
Maybe
Graceful
perceptive
is
or
pretty fitting.
risk taking.
What if we just read all
perceptive.
the adjectives to Jake at once?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm reading
Mysterious.
ones that I think fit. Mysterious is a good one.
Mysterious could
Rugged.
work because no one knows where you came from.
Yeah, it's and literally the first sentence is
Dark figure lurking
silently in the corner. That's you. I'd like to think that this character shows up at the camp and at first is the dark figure lurking silently in the corner, and
That's
then
true.
is drawn out by this interesting group of kids. That
Yeah.
is like one really outgoing person, one very like homey, like very good natured, and then one kind of naive rich kid. I think that's kind of fun that like maybe this group kind of draws him a little bit out of that mysterious.
Misfits, aren't
Yeah.
Well,
Misfits.
The camp
is also very
misfits.
fitting.
I think rugged makes sense too.
What'll it be?
Okay, that's something interesting. People never know where they stand with you. Any task involving getting people to trust you is hindered. I don't know if that's what I want for this character.
Okay.
So 'cause
There's
I think-
stealthy if you still want them to be someone who can be sneaky and hide.
yeah, I think stealthy makes sense. We might go stealthy. A stealthy explorer who walks the wild woods.
Ooh.
That's kind of cool.
That is cool. What are we feeling for race?
Okay, there's cat folk, dragon folk, dwarf, elf, gnome, half giant, halfling, hellborn, human, lizard folk. Lizard folk is interesting. They're from a long. No, I don't care to be a fierce predator necessarily, fierce reptilian predator. I think elf makes sense.
That's true.
In some ways, and I feel like generally in fantasy lore, you don't think about elf tribes, really? Like nomadic elves isn't really a trope.
I mean, I think all elves are tribal in Lord of the Rings. There's like the elves
I guess
of
that's
the
true.
particular wood, or like the woodland elves are a tribe, and the
I
That
could
is
see it
true.
also being like if you just flavor catfolk to be one of the races in Uroda,
right.
I feel like that would probably be a good one.
That's true. So yeah, that's the other thing too with some of these races that are in Cypher and not in D&D. If I was to choose catfolk, would that be like something that we would retcon into the lore, or would it be like flavor as something
Here's
else?
the beauty of what you all did in the finale. Nothing needs to be retconned. When that much magic does that many things all at once, who knows what will happen next? So if
Are we
catfolk
saying-
appear in the world after that happened, then catfolk
That's a
appeared in the
win
world.
for me, baby. That's a win for me.
In that case, it might be kind of fun to do catfolk. At the same time, I'd like to play an elf. I'm going to choose an elf.
Okay.
As I was saying, it would be fun to choose catfolk. I was like, but I want to play an elf, don't I?
Great. Play an elf.
So I'm going to do that. All right.
Stealthy
So
elf explorer who walks the wild woods. Choose 4 abilities from the
Yes.
list below.
I like danger sense. Danger sense to me makes sense as someone who's like very aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I get to choose 4 abilities. Okay, so I've selected danger sense. Let's see here. Another one, find the way. I think makes sense as well, given the nomadic nature
Yeah.
of my peoples. Fleet of foot makes sense, given the agile abilities that I would imagine my character has. There doesn't seem to be a specific stealth ability in this, which I think is fine.
I think it'd
Right.
probably fall under your like skills if you have any
Yeah.
skills to select.
Makes sense. So I'm gonna go with fleet of foot. Let's see, what else?
Maybe
What else
trained
makes
without
sense?
armor.
You're trained in speed defense tasks when not wearing armor. That's a great one. I think that's perfect.
I got you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice,
Danger
nice.
sense, find the way, fleet of foot, train without armor. I think that all makes sense for what this character is trying to be.
Perfect.
All right. Next we have. Wow. So I have a wilderness life ability and an ability from my elf descriptor.
So you get 2 from Wilderness Life that are from that specific list they gave you.
Climbing, swimming, navigation, or identifying plants and creatures. To me, navigation and identifying plants makes sense given my walk of the wild woods
Okay.
background.
So you just type those in and click add skill for those
All
2.
right, navigation.
And then we're going to add a 3rd one that's because you're an elf.
Remember, it's identifying plants and creatures. That's one skill.
And creatures.
Yeah.
Great.
And then you get a bow variety of your choice. Recalling that weapons are pretty much abstracted into light, medium, and heavy. You can just pick one of those if you would prefer, rather than like
Okay.
recurve or compound or whatever.
It's fun to add a bit of a flavor to it.
Yeah, hit it with the flavor if you want to. I just didn't want you to be like, I suddenly have to become an archer to know what I'm trained in.
Well, would you know, Josh, that I was an archer in a past life?
I would
aka
never have
Christian
known that.
summer camp.
Oh,
Christian archery summer camp.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that so skeptically. I paintballed at a Christian summer camp for all of my high school.
Archery, paintball,
It's the same difference. One of them could,
like
they both
Jesus.
could hurt you really bad.
I went to a Christian summer camp where we built a fort out of
Wow.
sticks.
Nice.
And then we had to defend against water balloon attacks. And whoever was
Ah.
the driest won.
Did you win?
Nice.
How do you measure how dry you are?
We all wore like white t-shirts on top of our normal clothes. And then they like saw how wet you were.
I see.
It was subjective.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put.
I mean, there was some very obvious discrepancies.
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
put medium longbow. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Because I
It's
feel like a
medium
heavy.
light.
I would say I feel like a heavy longbow is like longbows are obviously different than light, like a short bow. But I feel like there's kind of a difference between a medium longbow and a heavy longbow.
It's not an English longbow.
All right, six pool points. First time.
6 points to spend in the pool. It's pool season.
Yeah. All right.
How many noodles do you want in the pool?
How many?
5.
All right. I'm just gonna start clicking and saying things out loud. I want to add at least 1 to speed. I'm gonna add 2 to speed. Give me that 15. That's a nice round number. Let's see. I like adding 2 to might. He doesn't need to be that mighty though. That's the thing. I'm gonna add 2 more to intellect. That puts me at 11 intellect and 12 might.
You got a lot of speed costing stuff.
That's true.
This is true. Maybe it's just better to continue to load up that speed. Give me up to like a, I don't know. Yeah, this seems right. 11 might, 17 speed, 10 intellect. That feels about right.
11, 17, and 11 is actually 1 too many points.
No, he said
11, 17,
17,
10.
10. Yeah.
Oh, 10 intellect?
Yes.
Okay.
Intellect.
Great.
Because my danger sense costs 1 speed.
Not 9 lex. 10 lex.
Yeah.
Name 'em.
But sorry,
Luther.
I keep reading back through things just to make sure that I like what
That's
I've done.
fine. Sorry, I'm rushing you. I didn't
Oh, it's
mean to.
okay.
Yeah, how dare you?
I don't feel rushed. We have 40 minutes left.
I say we're doing great.
We might get to some gameplay tonight. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh, this is a terrible default name. Wereduck.
I got Val.
Val. Hey, it's Val. Caitlin laughed at my character name.
Lect Luther.
Lex Luther.
I'm Lex Luthor, but I have a lisp.
Lex Luther. Les Luther.
He's really less of a Lex, you know.
It's true. Elf names. Good, like, nomadic elf names.
Just take the letters in Legolas and arrange them differently. Galola.
Egoless.
You could say Sorrowwind.
Sorrowwind. Oh, that's such a badass name. Sorrowwind. That's a good last name. Elias Sorrowwind.
Cool.
With 1 W. Sorrowwind, but with like the words are mashed together without 2 W's.
I'll be right back. My dog's freaking out. I'm gonna go make sure he's all right up there.
Josh spelt it too. Spelt it.
I'm gonna, and Josh said delete our equipment, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Figure out how you galvanized into a friend group so you can tell me when.
Yeah.
All right. So
And I have 0 monies. All right.
I like the idea of Mike's character just like trying to befriend the little noble kid who doesn't know any better. So the noble kid is obviously like, yeah, sure, like we could be friends, not knowing like anything.
I would
or
like
being
you
able
to be so naive that you're actually not like being direct about it. So he keeps asking for validation, and you're so naive you're not realizing that you're not giving enough validation that you're friends.
He probably has his like servants or whoever's with him just address it.
Yeah, what do you think, Mike? I thought it was funny if the noble kid is so naive they're not realizing they're not giving you validation that you're friends, and so you keep trying to reconfirm that you're friends, and he just isn't giving you explicit wording that you're friends, but totally believes you're friends.
Yeah. And so I just keep digging into it, just keep going harder and harder. It's like, yeah, this guy's so darn nice. Meanwhile, I'm like, what do I gotta do to get in there? This guy's a wall.
So like he sends his servants for everything because that's what he's used to, not knowing that it's like not everyone has a servant. So like he appears to be like closed off or like really walled off and protected, but like that's just how he's lived his life, so he doesn't know any better.
I could be his new servant.
I see what's happening, and I'm just here to keep an eye on this interaction to make sure it doesn't get out of hand.
What's happening right now?
I'm describing the friend group dynamic.
Any dynamic where Cleo is the one policing something to make sure it doesn't get out of hand? I'm like, what am I walking into? My dog was bravely protecting me from a small tree branch that blew into my yard.
Oh,
How courageous.
very.
I'd like to think also that's why Fork is keeping an eye on Elias here, because Elias has showed up. And so Fork's just like, I'm just gonna be around the people I'm worried about.
Is Fork suspicious or cautious?
Fork probably was suspicious, but sees the good-naturedness of Elias, and now is just like, well, I'm not gonna just not talk to him. And
Yeah, I would say Elias would like stay in the back, but once Elias maybe sort of starts like seeing this group kind of gravitate towards each other and also maybe sort of towards the back of the class, if that makes sense, Elias isn't opposed to like kind of scooching in and kind of being like, oh yes, I've always been here, like I'm here to join in and talk and you know, participate.
I also feel like Elias is probably the most relatable person for Fork to everybody else here.
That's true. If they get to talking about like upbringing or like you know, I'm sure both Elias and Fork could sort of.
It might just be a nature thing of realizing
yeah,
like we're the only ones who know what
nature.
they're doing.
Yeah, that's true. Just be like, yeah, we have some independence, and we up to this point we've seen a little bit of the world, as opposed to maybe some rich kid. Or then again, I'm sure the duck has seen a lot.
Been through a few things.
So how do the two groups come together?
Well, I think what Cleo was kind of describing is that Cleo is sort of keeping an eye on you two, and then also my character Elias is sort of gravitating towards Cleo. What's your character's name? Fork. Is sort of gravitating towards Fork because there's a bit of a kinship there with like a passion towards nature and kind of seeing the world, and because of like those things kind of coinciding, then it's kind of like once there's some sort of group project or something, it's just like, yep, we're the logical group that forms up.
One more time, let's just go over everybody's first name so we're all on the same page. All right.
This is a good idea. I'm Elias.
I'm Fork.
I'm Norbin.
Norbin.
Lars.
And Lars.
So one thing about Lars is that all his life he was called Larstein, and then he gets to Camp Blunder, and Jeb's like, that's too long. I'm gonna call you Lars for
That's
short.
too long of
And
a
I
name,
like it.
pup. I ain't saying
I like it.
Larstein. Sounds like something got in your shirt.
Perfect. And so that's the first time he was called Lars, and he's like really accepting of that and like proud of that.
I like
I'm
it.
Lars now. All my servants, my name's Lars now.
Literally.
It is late in the evening of maybe day 8 or 9 of camp. It's been a little while. I mean, camp is not winding down by any means. Plenty of cool adventures going on, but it is late in the evening and the fire is still ranging at the center of all the log cabins that sort of make up the safe space in the sleeping area of Camp Blunder. Counselor Poppy Peppermint has turned in for the night already. Her trusty adventuring pack hung on the peg outside her cabin. And you're not the only campers sitting around the fire, but you are some of the last. You know, the group is trickling, and so there are people who are headed away to bed, and the soft sounds of little whispered story times and things kind of coming out of the different cabins around you, you know, band camp crap. And you all sitting at the fire are there because I don't know, the stars are pretty. There's, you know, it's that energy. You're like, I don't want to go to sleep and like lose the magic. It was a super fun day. Today at camp, you actually got your first practice with like a cool sword thing. And so there were these cool wooden practice swords that Counselor Peppermint had added a little tangle of magic to. And so you spent the first week learning a little bit about magic and what it looks like in the world and that sort of thing. This was your first time getting to play with it. And so today you know, each of you got to hold your wooden practice sword, and you were faced off against a small mechanical construct that Old Man Jeb created, sort of like a wooden practice dummy. He called it FP63, and it had its own cool sword, and so each of you got like a cool magical effect, you know, and you're still kind of riding the high as everyone's sitting around the campfire talking about like, oh, what did mine do? What did yours do? You know, how cool was that? You know, Norbin, the fact that yours, when you attacked, called in this cool gust of wind that knocked FP63 over was pretty neat. Lars, when you kind of swung with the sword, obviously a little bit of an unpracticed hand, but somehow it seemed like the sword almost targeted itself, and it like steadied your aim and corrected your form. It was really neat. And then Elias, when you attacked with your wooden practice sword, it turned into a metal edge as it hit, and then the metal edge went away again, so it was still safe to handle. And Fork, when you attacked with your sword, it turned into a fork, and so you ended up just stabbing them with a fork. And so there's a lot of laughter about Fork's fork and every, you know, what have you. And as the campers trickle away, eventually it is down to you all and one other camper. It's a small boy named Timmy who has been at the camp with you in this group, and has a little bit of that Norbin energy where he, like, you know, wants to always have something cool to say and, you know, wants to be included in every group. And so he's probably only kept awake by the FOMO. Like, you can see the bags under his eyes and he's a little droopy.
But I heard that out in these woods, like not far from here, there's a cool cave that has a real magic sword in it, like not a practice one like what we use. I heard that there's a real one, and it's in one of the caves from like back in. So I obviously you remember the stories from last week about how like up in the mountain there's like a cool warrior guild who has like a building where they're all training and stuff, and one of them lost their sword in this like really cool fight, and it fell down like a cave shaft and it landed in this other cave. And I don't know exactly how the caves worked, but like it's in there right now, and it's like I don't know. I overheard Old Man Jeb and Miss Poppy talking about it and how it's out there, and like how cool would that be if we ever got to find that one? Maybe we should suggest to Miss Poppy that tomorrow when we go exploring, we could go look for the cave. Would that be cool?
That'd be
That is
incredible.
an idea.
I like it a lot.
She might take it though, but like what if she didn't and we got to like swing it a couple times? I wonder what it would do. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
So cool.
Pique my interest.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's getting sleepy, so you're probably it's getting late, so you're probably getting sleepy, right? So you're probably headed to.
He takes like a tentative half step away from the fire, like, you know, waiting to see if you're gonna go to bed too.
I could stay up all night if you guys are cool to hang. Like, I'm having a great time.
Yeah, me too.
And he sits back down.
Hey, Timmy, you
Someone to take you back to your cabin?
No, I mean my cabin's right there. I could go, but I'm just like I'm wide awake. So like if we're still hanging out, like I'm down to keep hanging, you know. I just was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Timmy, ever seen someone stick their whole hand in a raging fire? Norbin just puts his whole hand in. Yeah.
No, Norbin.
Whoa, that was crazy. Are you
Isn't that
okay?
awesome? I'm great. Did you like that?
Not really. I feel like it might have hurt you. Are you okay, man?
I'm doing great, Lars. Wasn't that awesome?
That was great, man.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if it was.
Now, Norbin, can you
I'd
please
say that was
not do that again?
Miss
It's a
Poppy
little bit
says.
unwise.
Miss Poppy always said it. It's not safe to just go right up and touch fire because you never know when it might be alive and it'll jump out and grab you and pin you to the ground and then you'll die.
I mean, if you're knowledgeable enough about the surroundings, and,
All right,
and
now-
you've been aware and you've made sure to take in your environment, then things can't take you like surprise like that.
Now, Norbin, if I let go of you, you're not gonna put your hand in the fire again, are you?
I wouldn't do that unless someone really wanted me to.
I really don't want you to.
Well, Timmy was just talking about how it'd be like a fire, guys. Like, I could probably wrestle the fire, I think.
Have you not done this before?
What the?
I don't
do
think
it
it's a good
all the
idea
time,
to try and
Lex.
wrestle a fire just because it might be a guy. Like, what if it's not a guy, and then
not
you're
a
just
guy.
rolling around in the fire?
It's like we won't know until I'm in there, you know.
Lars, you're not helping.
I think we can know. I think Elias was just saying we can know.
Plenty of times before.
I mean, fire. The thing about fire is it's
knows what
very
he's doing,
destructive.
right?
It's very, it can be harmful to nature. And Elias will kind of gesture around all the trees around the cabins and stuff. If we mistreat this fire, then it could spread and destroy the things here that we lack. So
Whoa, you're
Norbin, just
so
to clarify.
wise, Elias. That's so cool. I've never been like in the woods before.
it's quiet. It feels like home to me. And you know, on our journey to the cave tomorrow, if that's what we want to do, which I think could be quite illuminating.
You're not gonna rush off, right, Norbin? We're gonna rest, because I know you can stay up all night, but we're all tired.
could
I know
always
you're
stay up.
tired.
What? I'm doing great. I'm just barely hanging on. Nah, guys. No, I'm having a wonderful time. But you know, like, if that sword does sound pretty cool, we could probably go get it as soon as anyone wants us to.
Do you all want some sleepy time tea?
What are
that
you
always
talking
helps me.
about?
It
You know,
does sound
Lars,
delicious.
that would be great.
Hey, Jives, can you make some tea for all?
Right away, sir. Right away.
I'll
Yes,
make
I will.
the tea.
I will.
I'll
get
take
on
that
the
time.
tea. No,
Jive, I'll take that.
the young master asked me to make the tea. I would prefer if you
Okay.
please give that back. He's like in a little tug of war with like a tea kettle.
I'm holding
take
on to
this.
the teapot.
I
can do it.
Norbin,
come over here.
come sit by the fire. Come sit next to
Well,
me.
I'll show you how to whittle a stick. You want to learn how to whittle?
He like shakes the tea kettle to trying to knock you off. Are you gonna try and hold on? Roll a might task.
Yeah, I tried.
This is a difficulty level of 4. This is a competent guy, but he ain't no like giant. But you're a little tiny, so. But if you have any relevant skills, you can pitch them on me before you roll.
I think I'm too in the moment of trying to please.
All right, so that's a straight D20 roll. The target number is 12. That's the number to beat.
I don't add anything, right, to my mind?
No.
Nope.
You change the difficulty by pitching me on stuff.
Right. Very good.
Our first roll.
It's a 9.
So with a thunk, you are plopped off of the tea kettle and onto the ground. And
Norbin, you don't want to do that. That's servant work.
I will get this tea kettle boiling right away. And the man sits down and like kind of throws his tie over his shoulder because he's obviously dressed in a full 3-piece suit. And he sits down and he's begins making tea over the fire.
Norbin, I really think you should watch Fork whittle this stick. I think you could learn a lot from it about patience.
You know,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna go find a stick for us to whittle.
I'll come with you.
What is whittling?
All right, but you gotta promise me not to run off if we walk out into the woods.
All right. Catch me! And I run off ahead.
What is whittling?
Gosh darn it!
I'll explain to you while they go find the stick.
Are
I
you
leave to go to chase after Norbin.
all right? Each of you roll a speed task, and the difficulty of the speed task is going to start at 3, and then each of you can adjust like your. Well, I guess don't even worry about your difficulties. Just roll, and let's see who outruns the other person.
I think Lars and I are staying at the campfire,
Yes.
though.
Okay, great. We're gonna follow. Who is that? Fork and Norbin here first. Fork and Norbin. Fork and Norbin.
Fork and Norbin. Get back here. I rolled a 13.
Okay.
Fort rolled a 16.
Okay. Fork is able to catch up to Norbin as the sounds of the fire kind of fade away into the distance.
Please, you can't just run off like that, Norbin.
Yeah, but you caught me. It was a good race, right? We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, sure thing. Now you gotta help me look for a stick.
Okay.
We're looking for something about the size of your wrist. You want something about the thickness of your wrist.
Just
Look at
then,
my
you think you hear
insanely
something
tiny wrist.
moving in the woods around you. Just a quick little, but you don't see anything.
breezy night.
Maybe we find the stick closer to the fire. You remember which way's back, right?
Yeah. It's. We couldn't have gotten that far. Because I think I can still see the fire, right?
Can we see the fire?
Did I get too carried
I'm
away?
gonna pitch you on a GM intrusion that you have run far enough that you can't see the fire. Are you down? You'll get an XP.
I'm fine with it.
I think we each get an XP
Yeah.
for GM intrusion, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I would give like Mike 2 and he'd give the other one to someone who's related, but this is pretty obvious because Cleo's the one who's there. So, yeah, each of you gets 1 XP, and you have run far enough that you can't see the fire.
Right, now.
You can roll an intellect task to try and figure out your way back to the fire. In woods you don't know at night after a week of being there, it's going to be pretty challenging. That's going to be a difficulty 6, which is a target roll of 18.
It's very important we don't panic, whatever we do.
I'm fine. I'm doing great. I hope the moon's not out too big tonight, do you think?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention the last couple of nights. I usually went in a little too early.
Yeah.
Up in the tree canopy you hear something flapping around, and then it's gone again.
All right. Norbin, please tell me you remember the way back.
Yeah. And I crawl up on. What race are you? You're like a demon or something?
I'm a dragon folk.
You're the dragon folk. Yeah, I climb my ass up onto your shoulder, and I try and.
Okay.
Let me get up here.
All right.
Okay.
Scale. Getting my fingers in between your scales.
You need the height, I assume. It's fair enough.
Yeah, I peek around and I assume see nothing but darkness.
So this is an intellect task to try and find the way back. And I would say that having the extra height is probably going to ease the task 1. So we'll say that's like an aid thing. So it goes from a difficulty 8 to a difficulty 7. Do you have anything else you want to pitch me on to try and make this task a little easier for you?
You can also use effort. 1 effort.
I think I was doing the running to get too much more detail in there, but I think I want to try really hard to look for any trace of my tiny little footprints.
So you want to apply a level of effort?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so you're going to spend 3 points from your intellect pool, and that will ease. And then remember, if you have an edge, that will subtract 1. And then that will ease your task by a second step. So now instead of a difficulty 8 or a difficulty 6 where you have to roll an 18, now the task is a difficulty 4 and you only need to roll a 12. So go ahead and roll your d20 when you're ready.
Is that already calculating my edge?
Yes. Edge only lowers the cost of your effort.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I understand. Perfect.
You got this, Mike.
That's a 3.
That's a 3. You are unable to spot the fire, and as you're looking around, you can't even recognize, like, there's not even friendly or like visible trees that you remember because the forest is so dense. So it's like, you know, you can only see probably 10 feet before the trees are so thick that you can't see beyond them. Briefly, for a moment, we're going to cut back to the campfire here. At the campfire, the other 2 of you are still sitting here.
Oh, you see, when you want to whittle a stick, it's
Yes.
I like to think of it a bit as a practice in patience, but in the practicality, what you are doing is shaping the stick to be something.
Timmy has fallen asleep.
Oh, Timmy. It's
Just
okay.
like right there at the fire.
It's all right. Just make what Elias will do real quick is like if Timmy is close enough to the fire that he could accidentally like get burnt or something, he is gonna like kind of move over and scooch him, without trying to wake him.
Okay.
And then kind of sit back down. Sorry. Yeah. So you're shaping the stick by using a sharp blade or something. That is one practicality of it. You know, you can make a sharp point. Or another way of thinking about it is you can just shape the stick to be it's almost like sculpting in a way. It can be sort of creative as well, and you can
Elias,
you can
as you're
etch.
talking, you begin to realize, just maybe at the corner of your perception, you're like, oh, I can't hear their voices anymore, or like the tree branches snapping of those two guys who ran off. You know, I'm not sure where exactly they wound up.
Elias will kind of pause and be like, I think our friends may have. Do you hear them anymore? They probably went pretty far away.
Could I I mean, it's not a skill I'm trained in or anything, but is there like a perception roll I can make?
Sure. I think in this case, it would be just based on like your, the sharpness of your senses. So that's going to be an intellect-based roll.
Okay.
And I would say, go ahead.
Wide-eyed, which is I'm trained in perception tasks granted from naive. So
There you go.
Okay, cool. And I would say it's going to be a challenge since you're sitting in the firelight. Like it's going to look dark out there in the distance. So that would normally that'll hinder you by one step. So I would say it would be probably a difficulty level of 5 to try and figure out where they went, because you at least have a sense of where they started. So it should be easier to like figure out. So it's a step easier, but it's going to hinder you up to a 6 because of the darkness out there.
Yeah.
Your training eases it back down to a 5. Is there anything else that you want to do as far as effort or anything else to affect the difficulty level?
Nope.
All right. So then target roll is a 15.
That is a natural 1 on my first
A
roll.
natural 1. That's a complication with no XP. You do not hear them and like or kind of see where they're going. And also maybe as the complication, maybe you are like immediately like, we need to go look for them. Like, you get worried about them and kind of feel like we shouldn't tell, Counselor Peppermint, she'll be upset at us. Like we probably should go find them.
I think we should go find them. I'm worried about them.
Yeah, I agree. We just need to, take a second and see if we can, find where they
As you're
started.
saying that, Lars just starts walking.
Lars, wait, hey, hold on. And Elias will try to Elias is trying to just remain calm. He'll kind of slowly try to kind of pat Lars's back and be like, hey, let's slow down just a second. If I can just take a moment and find where they started, I should be able to pick up on their trail. It's something I've done before.
Oh, okay. You tracked people before?
Yes, yeah, it's all right. I mean, I've tracked animals before. I'm sure it's basically the same thing.
It is a dry night in a dense forest. There's plenty of like undergrowth or like overgrowth and underbrush and stuff for them to trample. So I would say that this is, probably a difficulty level of 4 to start out with. And then I know you're bringing some training in, so that'll ease it down to a 3. Anything else you're gonna?
Elias does have the special ability of Find the Way, which is when I'm applying effort to a navigation task, I get a free level of effort.
Okay, so you'll need to spend the 3 points from your pool to spend that first level of effort, and the second one is free. So that will ease you down to a difficulty level. We were at 4, drop 1 to 3, drop 2 more for your effort. Difficulty of 1, the target roll is 3 for you to pick up the
Just
tree.
need to roll above a 3.
Elias really wants to find him, and he wants to take the time to do it. So
Great.
he rolled exactly a 3. So is that a success?
I don't know if that's a success, so tonight it is, and I'll read up on that later. But tonight, that's a success. So at first it's a little bit tough, probably because this is the first time you've been hunting to like, oh no, I might want to save a person instead of like I'm looking for dinner or just a path for me. But you are able to pick up the trail, and so you set out on your way. We will jump back over to our lost boys. Fork and Norbin. Norbin sitting on Fork's shoulders out there in the woods in the distance.
All right, you got keen eyes up there?
I can see it's pretty dense out there.
Okay.
And maybe if you tried throwing me in a direction, I'd be a little closer to something.
I don't think that's a great idea, Norbin. I apologize.
A lot of people have liked doing it in my life, so I don't know.
We can unpack that later.
As the two of you are trying to decide what to do, Norbin, you do see like a little glimmer of light. It is not fire colored. It's a sort of greenish blue kind of pulsing that you see a few steps further into the woods. But whatever is causing it is masked by a tree.
Orc, I see something.
Whoa.
It's flashing in cool.
But why are you whispering?
Because I don't know what it is. I thought you wanted me to be careful.
Okay, you know what? I'm glad you're whispering. You're doing
Okay.
great, Norbin. This is
Thank
the
you.
most forethought I've seen from you.
I appreciate your approval.
You're doing great. What direction is it? Tap my head.
Is it wherever that big spooky ping came from?
You briefly flash back, Fork, as you see the glow coming around a tree. You briefly flash back to a couple days into camp. Counselor Peppermint, out it was sunny then, when she was out in the woods with you, and she said,
Now, the important thing to remember about ciphers is that a cipher will often have signs, little magical knots, little disturbances of energy. There will be surplus effects, and so you might be looking for something out of place. Maybe something that is the wrong color or makes a weird sound. Maybe you walk somewhere where it should be warm, but it feels cold. So keep your eyes peeled for things like that, because that is where you will find the different knots of magic that you will one day be able to channel for yourself.
we flash back into the moment as you step around the corner, and there in kind of a tangle of underbrush and leaves, there is a pile of normal colored fireflies all flying in a circle around three small pulsing. They're not orbs. They're not corporeal enough for orbs. It's almost like a ball of noodles where they're like little, like literal tangles of something that kind of weaves in it. It's almost like roots coming out of a weed. If you've ever pulled like a weed system where it's like spreads wide instead of deep, it's like one of those little clusters that's kind of folded over on itself. And there are three of these here. And these are ciphers. You can make an intellect roll to identify the ciphers, like to see what effects they might cause. You could walk over and just pick them up and see if you can use them, but it's harder to do that than if you identify them first. Or you can ignore them, but those are ciphers.
You dare me to pick one up?
No, I was gonna say the exact. I dare you to not pick them up.
Okay. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll just look at him real hard from over here.
All right, I'm gonna put you down now, if that's okay.
Okay. I'm gonna run really close to them. It's like, I'm not touching them.
Oh, Norbin!
I want to get up close, and can I do the intellect roll to see what they are?
Absolutely, you can. Trevor, roll 3d6. I need all three numbers, not the sum of them.
Okay.
This is the level of the ciphers that you've encountered.
I got a 1, a 6, and a 6.
Great. A 1 and 2 6s. So we'll do that and that. Great. So go ahead and roll your intellect. You are attempting to identify a magical effect, and there obviously it's a little bit of a sliding scale. If you beat a 3, you'll identify one of them because it's a difficulty level 1, and then 2 of them are a difficulty level 6. So you need to beat an 18 to identify what those do. But you're just gonna roll once, and then however high you roll is what you figure out.
I'm gonna use. My wife got me this dice tower. I'm gonna see if it helps me roll better.
It will.
Did I suggest that perhaps the fact Norbin is so close to them provides them a source of advantage? It makes it easier to
I don't think
identify?
so. No, I don't think.
I'm as close as I can be without touching it. I have to have a better view of it at this point.
I got a 16 is what I rolled.
A 16. Okay, so you can only identify the level 1 with that roll, unfortunately, because the others are at the other end of the spectrum at level 6. But you can tell that one of them is it almost seems like as you're kind of staring into it, and the lights pulse and whatever, you see little glimmers of tree bark rippling across the knot of magic. You're pretty sure that this will grant somebody some extra might for a short period of time, maybe approximately a round. It will give people easing to a might task that they can use once.
Seeing Mike so close to the camera.
You look like the train guy.
You're the cipher.
So you do identify that one.
Okay. Fork, I can only make out one of these puppies, but it's a pretty cool one. It'll make you pretty strong.
All right. I'm not sure if that's wise to touch right now. I'm a little worried. I'm just worried. We're out in the woods alone. I guess
It's a cipher. We're supposed to be looking at this stuff. We're learning about it. Come on.
All right. You know, I might grab it just in case something sneaks up on us.
Yeah.
And I reach out. Which one is it?
It's I was gonna do something wrong. I point out the one. I was gonna point it out and then grab it myself, but I pointed out to him.
Okay.
I'll grab it.
Sure. You reach down to grab it, and as you make contact with it, you feel like, even though it looks incorporeal, and in fact your hand kind of phases through it, it feels rough. Like your hand has the sensation of touching tree bark. No, you don't need to make a roll for that. Never mind. You have like gained a cipher basically. +1, doodly doot. As you reach for it, when you make contact, the light kind of fades and vanishes, and very briefly your veins are illuminated on that arm in that like greenish blue, and then it manifests as a tattoo, like a small rune on your forearm.
Oh no,
and
Papa's gonna kill me.
Wow.
You can.
That looks great. I want to get one. And can I touch another one?
Yeah, 100% you can. Jake,
one of them is
I'm thinking of a number. It is higher or lower than 100. Which number? Like, pick a number.
143.
143. Great, Norbin. Yeah. You reach forward and grab Cypher as well. You can add a level 6 Cypher to your inventory. Just at the strength one is a level 1. This level 6 Cypher will allow you to summon a small storm. And same thing, you get that like kind of greenish blue, like kind of like shoots through your veins, and as the tattoo appears, you become innately aware of how it works.
Norbin?
As this is happening, the other two of you arrive just as you hear Norbin. That's when the other two of you kind of arrive on the scene.
Do we see the green glowing magic-y?
Yeah, there's
nukes?
one of them left. One green glowing pulsing kind of knot on the ground. You were not in time to see them grab the ciphers, and in the dim light, you probably cannot see the tattoos on their arms.
There you guys are.
That doesn't look like a stick.
We found three of these darn weird fairy lights here, and I grabbed one because Norbin said it might help in case something comes along, and then he just grabbed another one. He didn't even know what he grabbed.
I grabbed it because it looked cool, but when he did
about the ciphers that
Yeah, you know, ciphers, fairy lights. I mean,
yeah, there's one more here.
Can I make an intellect roll to see if I can figure out what the last one does?
Absolutely, you can. Your the difficulty is 6. Your target number is 18, unless you can modify the difficulty.
I have an edge in intellect of 1. Does that help?
Your edge makes it easier to apply effort. So I'm going to back up for a second and talk about the rule of effort. You can spend 3 points from your pool to apply effort. That makes it easier by 1 step. After the first level, it only costs 2. So 3 points the first time, then it's always 2 points. However, once you do that, add up all of the effort that you're spending and then subtract your edge. So if you spent 5 points of effort and you have an edge of 2, then you would subtract 2, you'd spend 3 total. If you spent, 7 points, you have an edge of 2, you spend 5 total.
keep in mind, as tier 1, we only can spend 1 level of effort. We can't do multiple levels of effort.
Unless you have an ability that says you get one for free.
All right, I'm going to spend 1 level of effort.
Great. So take 3 points out of your pool minus any edge, and that will ease your task by 1. So now it's only a difficulty 5 task. The roll to hit is a 15.
I got a 16.
You got a 16. This is a cipher that will create light that fades over the course of 6 minutes. So it begins as a bright light illuminating basically the same as a bonfire, so like a short distance up to about 50 feet from you. And then over the course of 6 minutes, that light fades back down to nothing. And it's a light that moves with you, so like it's essentially centered on you.
This is a cipher of light. I think this would be good for getting us navigating back to camp. I think you should take it.
Elias will like kind of turn back towards Lars. Sorry, I was looking out to make sure there wasn't anyone trying to sneak up on us. I get what you're saying. I personally would prefer not to have a bright light emitting from me because I'd like to, not be seen by people trying to hurt us. But if you guys want to use the light, I can kind of stay off in the back or in the front. I just don't, I don't want to really be
I just want to ask a quick question real quick since we're all here. Minus the scary sounds in the woods, y'all know you're way back, right?
Yeah. I can get us back.
All right, Norbin is looking a little sickly here, so I'm gonna carry Norbin. Oh, Norbin's back. Okay, you okay there, Norbin? You stared off into the distance, and it was scaring me.
I went deaf for a second. I had to fix myself on the inside. You guys see my cool new face tattoo?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
I'm pretty
question any of that.
Yeah.
All right. Norbin, I'm gonna carry you, Norbin. I'm a little worried for you. I'm gonna carry you.
Yeah, okay.
Get him back up on my shoulders.
Norbin is
yay.
pretty dang small. This is only a difficulty level of 2 might task to carry Norbin on your shoulders and still move at like your normal adventuring pace.
I don't need no effort.
It's a target roll of 6.
I'm losing the die. Okay, there we go. I got a 13.
13, easy peasy. You hoist Norbin onto your shoulders. Norbin says, "We." Are we heading back towards camp? Is that the goal?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the last cipher first.
Tell me if this is doable. Elias wants to sort of set off on the path, like lead the way, but stay out of the range of the light if Lars casts it, so that like perhaps Elias's path, like literally his footsteps, are visible for the party to follow, but he's trying to stay stealthy in case something bad tries to ambush
I guess
them.
most importantly is Lars casting the light.
Elias says he didn't need the light or want the light.
Well, then there we go. Perfect.
All right, needless discussion. Let's go forward.
All right.
Do you want the light?
Lars, respectfully, shut up.
What did I say?
No, like I said, respectfully, you're fine. It's just right now I just don't want to talk no more within the dark, and I mean, these are strange woods. I don't know them. And Pop always said that you always be careful in the strange woods. I'm gonna shut up.
To be fair, and Elias will kind of like respectfully kind of touch one of the trees. I don't think it's the woods that are strange. I think sometimes our eyes just play tricks on us, and we'll just be able to make it back just fine. And Elias will kind of start leading them back on the path they came from.
So,
Navigating the woods from this side is much harder. It's dense. You've gone around some turns. This is a difficulty 6 intellect task, though you may bring whatever assets or skills you like to the table to make it easier.
I'm going to say once again, Elias is going to use that extra level of effort he can get from his Find Your Way ability. Okay. So he's going to spend the 3 pool points.
Plus another level of effort to make it a 4.
Level of effort. So, yeah.
Okay. Difficulty 4, target roll is 12. For those of you who are trying to figure out the math, it is multiplied by 3.
And that's a 19.
Easy peasy. 19 comes with a minor effect, a minor boon or benefit when you roll it in this system. I will let you choose whether you would like a narrative benefit or whether you would like an XP point.
I want to see what a narrative benefit is like. Sure.
So as you're navigating, you, instead of falling into the inciting incident I was about to provide you, you spot it. You're walking along when you realize that a set of vines and tangled undergrowth that is in front of you is not rooted in the ground. It is grown over a hole in the ground. And your mind briefly flashes back to
and they say that it fell down the shaft from the monastery at the top of the hill, and then landed in another cave. I don't really remember how like the caves work, but they say there's like this cool sword that's like down in that cave, and like how cool it'd be if we found it.
You guys remember talking about those caves?
Yeah. Why'd we stop?
Elias will just point down at the large hole. I think we might have found one of them.
Any of you who are not familiar with like nature and hiking, just see vines.
Vines?
Now that hole looks a little dangerous. It's a little hidden, Lars. I don't blame you for not noticing. Here, wait, Norbin, I'm gonna have to put you down so I can take a better look at this, because I think we best try to avoid it.
You want to avoid the big cool hole with the thing that Billy was talking about?
Well, I just don't want to step onto it and then one of us fall down, and it's gonna cause a whole scene to happen. And
Yeah, that'd be awful. Just put me down and I'll stay right here.
all right, yeah, I'm trusting you, Norbin.
Yeah, you can trust me.
Okay, I'm gonna put you down.
You guys are gonna love this. I use distortion on myself.
Okay, remind us what that does.
The target rapidly shifts between its normal appearance and a blot of darkness.
Okay.
So I just want to make myself hard to see and run away from everyone and go to the hole.
To the hole? They're right in front of the hole, so you're like you're running
right
like
there.
2 steps forwards, but
Yeah,
as
I
a
want
blotch.
I want to run into the hole.
So you're flickering between a blotch of darkness and yourself.
Yeah.
Norbin falls through the hole. Norbin, you fall probably 10 feet before you land with a thud and a single point of damage to your might pool on the ground of a cave. Stretching away from you is a creepy, spooky tunnel. And on that note, tonight's Dungeons and Dragons session. It's not a Dungeons and Dragons session! Oh my gosh, I have to change the thing! On that note, tonight's adventure in the Wing Badger Tavern comes to a close. We will see you next week to figure out how it goes. Now it rhymes! The adventure comes to a close. Let's see how it goes. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Norbin.
Gosh darn Norbin.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Anybody who was here in the chat or on the stream, thanks for playing players, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm out of practice. We're supposed to say a thing to them, right? Trevor, what do we say? We say a thing, right? What do we say?
I was gonna say some have said in the past. It's been long passed down for generations and generations. GG and GN.
Yeah.
And don't you forget about